On this edition of the Koffers, a cruel angel's thesis. Hideaki Anno, an auteur if there ever was one. Very few people have left such a gigantic mark in pop culture, not just in Japan, but worldwide. Hell, if you're watching this, you have to have known some of his stuff. You know, like this. Or, you surely heard of this little independent feature. But if you're watching this channel, you surely have seen his magnum opus. But here's the thing, for a man whose works include themes of depression and anxiety, he's also a gigantic nerd. As in the case of how nerdy, well, back in the early 80s, before he really broke into animation, he and his buddies made a fan film of Ultraman titled The Return of Ultraman, which saw Anno himself playing the title role in nothing more than a fancy jacket, wearing a glove, and fighting a giant rubbery monster. And because of that, well, there's a figure. Which brings us to today's episode of the Koffers, which is Hideaki Anno's Return of Ultraman figure. Yes, Medicom released this at Wonderfest as part of their Real Action Heroes line, which is basically the equivalent of a high-end G.I. Joe or Hot Toys. It's one of those kind of one-off fun things that they decided to do because, well, at this point they've kind of already made every other Ultraman that there was to make. And because of Anno's status as pretty much the king of anime in Japan at the time, well, he needed to be immortalized in plastic. And so we're going to open this bad boy up and take a look at him. First things first, let's look at the box. So this is the side, giving you a full glamorous shot of the figure itself. The back, as you can see, the box is a little beat up. This is an older figure. And on the other side, which gives you a nice ass shot. And then all the detailing in the inside flap, which gives you a window into the actual figure, and then the credits that go along with everything that went into making this figure. Like most of the Real Action Heroes line, this guy stands an impressive about 9 inches tall and comes with actual cloth clothing, which is a nice change of pace from your standard action figure that is all plastic. And great detailing actually went into this figure, even the damage on the jacket. The jeans are actually made of a jean-like material. And as you can see, no detail was left unspared, including the wristwatch that he wears in the thing. Kind of reminds me of The Simpsons when they saw Bigfoot wearing the wristwatch. And he is on an armature body. The head is plastic, the rest of the body is a solid plastic. And he's held up by this stand, as you can see. There's a clip that holds at the waist. The facial sculpt is pretty good. Gets his likeness of the young, spry Anno. And before you ask, yes, the glasses are on there. They don't come off. And as I just stated, this is an armature figure, which means you get a full range of motion from the structure of the figure, which means you can give him a wide variety of poses. The arms and elbows are all jointed, as you can see, which gives you a vast array. The The legs are also completely jointed at the hips and knees, including the ankles as well. The only downside is the fact that the jeans and clothing kind of do limit how far you can pose him. But you're going for as close to photorealistic as possible. As you can see, the head is completely on a swivel, which gives you, again, another good range of motion. And you can give him that proper Ultraman pose, which is, one of only about 3 or 4 you really want to give this figure. He does come with an extra set of hands, so you can either have him balled up and fisted or the open palms, like the ones you just saw I remove. So you can do the proper Ultraman. They are also on a joint as well. And you'll watch me struggle as I try to get this back in while holding the phone. Yeah, didn't really think this one out. Here's an interior shot of the arm socket. Now I got it back in. As you can see, the other hand, which you do completely replace along with the loose wristwatch as well, to give you a different variety. There's the balled fist. And these are all pretty solid plastic. These are well made. They you do feel at times that they might be just a little brittle, but I had no issue with movement or any cracking whatsoever with this guy. The only things I found disconcerting about this figure is the quality of the clothes. They are well made, but as you can see, they do feel like at times they would rip easily. As for the the stand, unfortunately, because of the form of the jacket, you're going to have this crease. But if you're facing him front-wise, you're not going to have too much of an issue with that. It's pretty well hidden if you put him in a display case. The jacket, though, is pretty nice. I got to give credit to that. Now, the bonus that comes with this figure is this tiny little finger puppet of Anno himself. I do think this thing is cool. It's kind of chibi. They go with the Gendo shaded sunglasses, so you don't get to see any of his eyes. This thing stands at approximately about 2 inches. It is solid rubber. Like I said, it's a fun little bonus. And for display purposes, well, adds a little humility to this whole thing, which is, in of itself kind of goofy. And there you have it, guys. That is Medicom's Real Action Heroes Hideaki Anno figure. For hardcore fans, if you love Evangelion, if you love Ultraman, this is up your alley. If you're not that deep cuts, well, this is one you can avoid, but it's always fun to have a figure of a prominent filmmaker. I got a couple myself in my collection of Del Toro and, Quentin Tarantino. And that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Koffers. Remember, if you guys like what you see, we do have a podcast. It is the Kaiju Kingdom Podcast. You can find us at thekaijukingdompodcast.com or listen to the show on your favorite podcast streamer. And feel free to give us a like or subscribe, if that's a thing you feel like doing. I'm not going to tell you what to do because, I'm not your dad. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.